outside of my race because they was doing things better than my race.
Like,
Keep
what
it
do you
100.
define better? Define better.
Well, not better because I know where she getting ready to go. Not better.
I know you said they were doing things better. I wanted to know what better meant.
Not better. I'm gonna change that.
I'm trying to save you for the people,
That's
for the
what
culture.
I'm not better for the culture.
There we go.
Right, not better. I was dating Puerto Rican, I was dating Dominican, I was dating African, I was dating all type of other really size American black, right? They were doing way more of what we expect we want our woman to do more than our American. Our American got real comfortable
Give me some examples.
Oh man, I mean, their mannerisms are different. Like even my Indian one was from Syria, one of them countries over there, right? I didn't have to really say much to do and be treated like a king. You see what I'm saying? A lot of times with our own American black, they expect so much of us and what we're supposed to do. Like things like if we go out and eat and we just have a nice dinner, we can go anywhere and eat and get a nice dinner. It had to be Ruth Chris, or it had to be this, that, or it had to be this, that.
Hello YouTube, it's your boy, the Passport Bro Wingman, coming at you again with another YouTube video. The title of this video is called Passport Bro Upsets Dating Panel by Stating That Dating Overseas is the Best. And the way this video came about was I was watching a few of the people that I'm subscribed to, and I saw a video in which there was a Passport Bro that was discussing the difference between dating a lot of women in the United States versus his experience dating some of the women overseas. And he happened to slip up and say that foreign women were better than the American women, and specifically a lot of the black women he dated overseas, he felt like their behavior and their culture and dealing with the men had been better than his dealings with American black women. So this, of course, pissed off a lot of the women on the panel. And as you can see in the clip that I showed at the beginning of this video, a lot of women gave him a lot of pushback on that, and they wanted him to restate, address what he said, explain. And so, of course, he, when he saw how frustrated it was, he didn't want to get thrown off the show. He kind of just backpedaled just a little bit, just to kind of explain his stance and to say that he's not saying that he tried to skip around the word better, which I understand. So he was trying to say, I'm not saying that in every way they're better than them, or like black women are less than, or that kind of thing. I'm not trying to bash women. So he kind of readdressed it and just stated as just letting them know that the treatment a lot of men get overseas and in these foreign countries is a lot better than the quality that he receives in the United States. And as most people who have traveled, including myself, can agree, that this is true overall and in general. Now, again, as he stated, we're not saying that there are no good women in the United States, there are no good black women, or there's no women that treat you well in the United States. As we know that there's always a remnant of women that, in spite of all the bad culture and all the bad television shows teaching the wrong behavior, there still are like a, minority of women in the United States that, that will treat you well, that will make good wives, and they, treat their men well. So, like I said, I hate to say the not all thing, but of course we don't mean all. But getting back to the brother's point, I just wanted to kind of address and follow up on what he was saying, and kind of second a lot of what he was saying. So, basically what he was just saying is that he was trying to explain to the women the differences between when you deal with American women versus the foreign women. I kind of want to go over that. So we can start off by saying the first difference you're going to notice when you step into the DR, or you go to the Philippines, or you go to Colombia, you're going to notice that the standards of dating is completely different. In the United States, as we know, we have the 666, in which the man must have a six-pack, must make six figures, got to be 6 feet tall. But when you go overseas, and specifically a lot of times in South America, Southeast Asia, a lot of this, you don't really have to deal with this. And one of the significant reasons for this is that I believe they said the average height for a man in South America is like 5'5". And I think in the Philippines, I don't know the average height of a man there, but it's not very tall, because I believe a lot of the women there, I think the average was around like 5'1". And Guatemala and South America, I think for a woman there, the average was about 5'0", 5'1". So a lot of times when you go to these countries, you're already significantly taller than most of the women there. So that already X's off the whole requirement of being 6 feet tall. Keep in mind that most of the men there are short as well. So the women are used to being around men who are like on the shorter end of the stick. They're not really used to dealing with guys who are tall, like basketball players and that kind of thing. So if you're a short guy, you definitely want to go to Southeast Asia or South America, as you'll do very, very well there in comparison to the United States. Well, I believe the average height of a woman there in the United States is about 5'5" or something to that effect. So we have a little bit taller women. So for that reason, it kind of puts you in a bad state because there are literally women who are saying things like, if you're not 6 feet tall, they're not even looking at you. You're basically invisible. So that's the first thing, is that standards are more in your favor. Let's talk about the money. So we talk about 6 feet tall, six figures. Again, the average salary, I think most people in Colombia survive on about $250 a month. And majority of people in that country, I believe I think they said, it was about, I think 20 to 25% of the population there generates about 60% of the wealth and money there. So a lot of people there, they're not really living on a whole lot, and they're still able to have fun, go out to clubs, have a good time, and women are dating, get married, and so forth. So just for that alone, you should be aware that you don't need a significant amount of money to date a lot of women. They're not looking for guys making $100,000 a year. As we have stated before, if you work remote, even if you work remote, let's say you make $30,000 a year, you work remote, you are going to be living like a king there in Colombia and, parts of Brazil, over in Southeast Asia, where like cost of living is very cheap there. You're going to be living like a king there. You're going to have not only money to take care of all your finances, but to take your lady out to nice places, take care of her. And that completely eliminates that whole requirement of that as well. Also, in regards to the physical aspect, now I'm not saying that you should not get in shape. As you know, there's Kevin Samuels, and there was another YouTuber I used to follow named David Carroll. Unfortunately, they died at a significantly, I would say, somewhat young age, because now we have people living into their 80s and 90s and so forth. And so I say that just to say that you need to make sure you take care of your health. Now, again, you don't need to have a six pack. You don't need to have be steroid out and all that kind of stuff. Of course, if you are in shape and you are kind of slim, it's going to definitely help with the ladies, but it's not as important in these foreign countries, especially if you go to Southeast Asia, where you literally see, men who are in their 60s, their 70s, 80s, and they're dating women who are in their 20s. They're slim, they're fit, they're friendly. In those countries, they don't place as much significance on looks as much as as it is in the United States, because the women here I just feel like they're just being extra picky, always trying to add extra just extra qualifications just to disqualify like a lot of men and so forth. But it's not as big of a deal in these other countries. So that's the standards. Not to mention that there's a lot of women who just use men in the United States for like foodie dates. It was admitted, I believe they said about a third of women were using men just for foodie dates. They already planned in their mind they were just going to come there for the food. They had no intentions of dating these men or going long term with them. They just pretty much led them on. And I say that to say that, not to say that this doesn't happen in other countries and you won't have any disingenuous women, but what I'm trying to say is that you're going to run into more genuine women in those countries, because you're going to have more value there, just for the reasons I stated at the beginning of this video. So you're going to have a lot more value there. So a lot of women you're dealing with, a lot more of them are going to be more serious in their dealings with you. Even if it's just for y'all just go out and have a good time, they're literally like women here, literally at the end of the foodie date, she'll suddenly just say, I'm not interested, and wants to go home, versus at least there in these foreign companies, even if the woman wasn't really there for the best reasons, she'll at least, go on a walk with you. Put it this way, she'll be good company. I'll put it that way. But again, this is why I always just state people that, man, you need to really vet when you're there. Don't just jump on the first woman you see. But nevertheless, getting back to my point. So the dating there is a lot better. You deal with more genuine women. I always mention this as well. The marriage rates are much better in these other countries. Divorce rate is very, very low. I think it's almost I believe it was illegal at one point in the Philippines. I think they're being a little bit more open about it. But if, for example, like Colombia is a very low divorce rate. AP News has stated that 75% of people that marry foreign spouses, 75% of them, their marriages lasted 20 years or more. So you have a 75% potential success rate. Probabilities in your favor that that the marriage is going to work out well, and even the ones that didn't work out well, those lasted at least majority of them about like 6 years. So they at least went the distance about the average of what American marriage rate would have went. So I say to say that the marriage rate is higher in these other countries as far as success. As far as like affection, same thing. You see videos of Filipinas cooking for their man, bragging about that they come from a culture of cooking. They don't mind cooking for them. There was one guy that actually went to the Philippines. He had a whole bunch of heart problems. He met a Filipina there. She took care of him while he was going through all his health issues. She nursed him. And of course, when he got well, he took care of her. But I said to say that a lot of American women, not all of them, but a lot of them in general, tend to say, I can do all bad by myself. They're not trying to do struggle love with you. Now, I'm not saying that put it this way, I'm not saying just go to places, and be a burden to other women. Of course, you want to try to, bring your best game. But what I am saying is that the women in other countries, they understand that, they believe in building with somebody. Find somebody they can build with and building wealth with that person. As I said before, a lot of men there, they don't really have that much, money and things going on. There's not a lot of opportunity there. So they're used to working in situations where they meet a significant other and they build wealth together. So a lot of women there, they're not afraid, or they don't consider it a burden to work with you and help you build your wealth. They're actually looking forward to it. It's part of like their culture. So that in itself is you're going to have a level of respect that you're never going to really receive in the United States unless you're like a big time celebrity or elite type of man or something like that. So that's basically that. And again, also, and I'm going to end on this because I don't want to keep this video long. And last but not least, their expectation of the standard of living is going to be completely different than American women. Here, they're expecting you to have, live in a, fancy house, fancy car, have a good income, carry yourself really well. And in other countries, especially if you look at the Philippines, like, you got a lot of women who will live out in like small villages and that kind of thing. And sometimes they might be in areas where there's not like a lot of electricity. They're just used to having basic, necessities and that kind of thing. So I said it to say that, some of these girls, you can take them out just to the mall and they're okay with a non-brand dress. It don't have to be like Gucci or anything like that. It could just be a nice little dress. And they're very appreciative of you just buying them those, like the local brand, clothing there to take care of them, take them to like some local shops, local restaurants, and they're fine with that. And they actually enjoy and actually appreciate you doing that. Here we got women complaining about going to the Cheesecake Factory and Olive Garden and demanding that, they don't want to go to any food chain restaurants and that kind of thing. Whereas in some of these other countries, that's kind of like a luxury. So I said it to say that in general, I agree with the brother. And if you have not, got your passport yet, please get your passport. I hope I've interested a lot of you guys, especially like non-passport bros, to become passport bros. And those who are passport bros, as they say, passport bros, we up. We're going to keep winning. It's a new year. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe, hit the thumbs up, the notification bell. And until next time, this is your boy, the Passport Bro Wingman, signing off.